Okay, let's just dive right in. We're talking about something that drives so many of us crazy, the calorie counter on your phone or your watch. I mean, can you actually trust it, or is it secretly wrecking all of your hard work? So picture this. You're doing everything right. You're hitting your step goals, you're trying to eat well, but that number on the scale just will not move. You check your app and it tells you, hey, you're in a calorie deficit, but the results just are not there. It is so frustrating, and trust me, you're not the only one feeling this.
But what if the problem isn't your motivation? What if it's not some mystery about your metabolism? The real culprit is hiding in plain sight. It's the very data, the very numbers you're trusting to guide you every single day.
Yet that's the number, 30%. Recent clinical studies have shown that most fitness trackers can overestimate how many calories you burn by up to 30%. Think about that. That is not a tiny error. That's big enough to completely erase your calorie deficit and keep you stuck for weeks, maybe even months. So how on earth can they be so wrong? Well, to get it, you gotta understand how these things even work. The best way to think about it is like the difference between your car's engine and the actual journey you take. So first, you've got something called your basal metabolic rate, or BMR. This is basically the energy your body needs just to exist. For your heart to beat, for you to breathe, all the background stuff. It's like your car sitting at a stoplight, engine on, just idling. It's burning fuel even though it's not going anywhere. And this, right here, shows you the two pieces of the puzzle. Over on the left, you've got that BMR, the calories to live. And that, by the way, is why your phone can be sitting on your desk doing nothing, and Google Fit will still say you've burned 1,000 plus calories. On the right, you've got active calories. That's the extra energy from, actually moving around. The app tries to add these two together, and that's where things start to go sideways. And here's the real kicker. When your phone is the only thing tracking you, it's just guessing. It uses a little sensor to feel movement, but it has no idea how hard you're actually working. It can't tell if you're on a casual stroll or if you're lugging 3 bags of heavy groceries up a huge flight of stairs. It's just guessing based on motion. And honestly, it's a pretty terrible guess. But wait, it gets even more confusing. Because not all apps even guess the same way. Oh no. They all use their own secret formulas, which means for the exact same workout, you can get totally different numbers. Just look at this. It's from a head-to-head test. For the exact same 1,300-step walk, Google Fit said 62 calories. Samsung Health? It's at 94. Now, why the huge difference? Well, Google Fit uses a standard for metabolic effort called MET, which tends to be more conservative. Samsung's algorithm, on the other hand, can get a little overexcited by things like how hard your foot hits the ground. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, I'll just use Google Fit. But that's not the answer. The really crucial point here is that both of them, and pretty much every other app, can be seriously, dangerously wrong if they aren't calibrated to you. They're just making guesses with half the information. All right, so we know the data is messy. We know it's a problem. So what's the good news? The good news is you can fix it right now. It is time to take control of your own data, and it only takes 3 little steps. Okay, here we go. First, open up your fitness app and make sure your profile is perfect. I mean your age, your height, and especially your current weight. If it's off by even a few pounds, it throws the whole day's math off. Second, you gotta go into your phone settings and give the app always allow for location and physical activity. This lets it use GPS to see things like hills, which makes a huge difference. And third, and this one is the real game changer, sync a smartwatch. Any smartwatch. Get that real-time heart rate data feeding into the app. And this is why it's so important. When you do these 3 things, you completely change the game. The app stops using some generic math formula and starts measuring your body's actual, personal, physiological demand. It stops guessing how hard you're working and starts knowing based on your heart rate. And this whole shift from just guessing to real precision, it's not just a little trick for you to use. It's the entire future of where this technology is headed. Let's just take a quick look at how we even got here. If you look back to 2015, tracking was, well, pretty basic. It was just simple math based on your profile info and whether your phone was moving. Then, around 2020, Google brought in heart points, which was their way of saying, hey, intensity matters more than just how many steps you take. But right now, heading into 2026, we are seeing a massive industry-wide shift away from phone-only tracking and toward these dynamic, adaptive estimates that are powered by real-time data from our wrists. And hey, don't just take it from me. This quote from the SaaS Data Analytics blog says it all. After they looked at tons of different studies, their conclusion was crystal clear. Without you, the user, properly calibrating the baseline info, none of these gadgets are reliably accurate. Calibration, it's everything. So if you remember one thing from all of this, let it be this. It's time to change how you think about your tracker. You cannot be a passive data receiver anymore, just blindly accepting what your app tells you. You need to become a data validator, making sure the numbers you're basing your decisions on actually reflect your body and your effort. And that leaves us with one final thought. Once you've done this, once you've calibrated everything, and you can finally actually trust the numbers on your screen, the real question is, what are you going to do with that information? Your data is now accurate. What's your next move?